Great Sensation Film Fans, Thomas Hill here. Since today would have been Tupac's 48th birthday, I decided to do my top 5 favorite Tupac movies. Now, I probably could have done a top 10 favorite Tupac music, but to be honest, I don't really know how to do a video talking only music and all, and I don't want to accidentally get copyright. So I'm actually just gonna do my favorite Tupac films instead. And maybe towards the end of the video, I'll probably talk about like my favorite Tupac music as well. But yeah, of course I gotta do top 5 because sad to say his career was cut very short, and he didn't really do a whole lot of films. But you know what? As a rapper turned actor, like most rappers turned actors lately, don't really put out the best performances. But I think Tupac, to me, he's actually one of the best actor who also one of the best rappers who also acted. He's been in some really good stuff, and I've always liked besides just liking him as a rapper, I also liked him as a actor as well. I always thought he was a good actor. So, and he's been some pretty from around his around time he was alive and all. He was in some pretty interesting films. So that being said, here's my top 5 Tupac movies. Counting down at number 5 is Above the Rim. Now, this film is about a high school basketball star named Kyle Lee Watson, played by Dwayne Martin, who has who pretty much has a really relationship with Birdie, played by Tupac, who's like a drug dealer, and Birdie has a brother named Thomas Shepard, played by Leon, and they pretty much and it's pretty much a film about friendship and loyalty. I always like the chemistry between Dwayne Martin, Tupac, and Leon. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen Above the Rim, but I remember really enjoying it when I first saw it. It's a really good It's a film about basketball. It's a film about friendship, loyalty, and if I recall correctly, I think this was Tupac's last film. I could be mistaken there. I probably should have checked this out before I made this video. But yeah, I think this was like one of his last final films before he passed. And Tupac was great in this movie. And if you guys never seen Above the Rim, check it out. And you know what? I gotta rewatch this movie again. It's been like for years since I've seen this film. Oh, and not to mention Marlon Wayans is also in this. And it's always cool seeing Marlon Wayans doing like a dramatic based film. Alright, coming in at number 4 is Gang Related. Now, this film is about two corrupt cops named Da Vinci, played by James Belushi, and Rodriguez, played by Tupac, who have been murdering drug dealers and then stealing their narcotics. But they end up accidentally kill an undercover DA agent. Soon after the murder, the dead man's partner Sims, played by Gary Cole, comes calling in a search of a scapegoat, and so Da Vinci and Rodriguez finds like a homeless alcoholic. They call it Joe Doe, played by Dennis Quaid, but they end up keeping up the scheme that becomes increasingly a dangerous complex, and the DA grows suspicious of both of them. So they got try to find a way to clear their name, pretty much get away from the agent so they don't become suspicious and all. I really like the chemistry between both Jim Belushi and Tupac. Now, their chemistry was kind of odd. Like, when you hear a chemistry between James Belushi and Tupac, on paper that sounds like a weird duo. But in film form, it worked out pretty well. And Gang Relay is a really cool, fun action thriller. I mean, it doesn't really have a whole lot of action, but it's a really good one. It was directed by Jim Koff. It got released in 1997. Really interesting crime film, and Tupac was really great in this. Not to mention, you also had James Earl Jones was in this film. Gary Cole was great. Really good film. I mean, Jim Belushi, actually teamed up with some interesting actors over his career. I mean, he paired up with Arnold Schwarzenegger one time. He paired up with, of course, he paired up with Dan Aykroyd when for Blue Brothers. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love Jim Belushi? Jim Belushi is just awesome, and yeah, Jim Belushi was great in this, and him pairing up with Tupac was perfect to watch. If you guys never seen Gang Related, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Alright. Coming in at number 3 is a film called Bullet. Now, the film stars Mickey Rourke as a guy named Butch Stain who comes out of prison and is back on the streets of Brooklyn, New York. So he's pretty much like a lifelong junkie, and he ends up falling back into his old ways with his best friend named Lester, played by John Anos III. But Butch ends up stealing from a local drug pusher named Tank, played by Tupac, who decides to sell an old score by sending one of his toughest soldiers after Butch. And so, Tank soon discover that Butch is going to put up a fight with the help of his brothers named Lewis, played by Ted Levine, and Ruby, played by Adrian Brody. So it's like a cat and mouse game type film. Now, I admit, it's been a while since I've seen Bullet as well, but it's a really good one. I mean, it was directed by Julian Temple, who also did Earth Girl Are Easy, so it's kind of interesting to see Julian do a film like this. And Mickey Rourke was great in this movie. I thought he was really fantastic. Tupac, he's a great villain, and of course, he's no stranger at playing a villain. And Tupac was just awesome. And Adrian Brody, this was one of Adrian Brody's earliest roles. Adrian Brody was great in this movie. Really good film. If you guys never seen Bullet yet, check it out. I mean, it's a really good one. Alright, coming in at number 2 is Poetic Justice, which was directed by the late great John Singleton, and it starred Jen Jackson as a hairdresser named Justice, who pretty much writes poetry to deal with the pain of her loss. Because in it, Justice's boyfriend ends up getting killed, so she ends up writing poetry and all to deal with loss. So unable to get to Oakland to attend the convention because of her broken car, she ends up getting a lift with her friend named Aisha, played by Regina King. And Aisha's postal worker boyfriend is named Chicago, played by Joe Torre. So along for the ride is Chicago's co-worker named Lucky, played by Tupac, who Justice ends up growing closer with, and she pretty much ends up kind of falling for each other throughout the film. I really like the chemistry between both Janet Jackson and Tupac. I mean, Janet Jackson is another singer who is actually not that bad of an actress, because I thought she was great in this. And her romance relationship with Tupac really sells this film. John Singleton, R.I.P. John Singleton, he did a great job at directing. It's also a film about loss. It's a really great film. If you guys never see Poetic Justice, check it out. It's a really good one. Alright, my number 1 favorite Tupac movie of all time is actually the film that really put his acting career on the map. Now, this was, of course, around the time Tupac became a music superstar, so Hollywood execs decided to give him a shot at a motion picture. And this is the one that really made lots of people like his acting career, and that is Juice. Tupac was great as Bishop. I mean, of course, his character was not likable at all. Because in it, it's about 4 Harlem friends, one of which is Bishop, played by Tupac. The other one is is the lead named Q, played by Omar Epps. Steele, played by Jermaine Hopkins, and Raheem, played by Khalil Kane, who pretty much dabble in petty crime. And so, they ends up, knocking off a convenience store, and they end up pretty much shooting and killing the worker there. So they gotta try to find a way to cover her up, and pretty much they all want to like tell who did it, but that does not go well with Bishop. So he ends up taking his friends out one by one. It's an interesting film. I mean, it's really like there is some really intense moments in this, and it's pretty much like a cat and mouse game between both Omar Epps and Tupac. It's really great. I mean, it's a cool crime film, and the four leads actually had really great chemistry with each other. I mean, Omar Epps was great. I think Tupac's Bishop is probably one of my favorite villains of the '90s. He's a great villain, and he played like his character wasn't like creepy or anything, but he played that. But his character at times did feel a little creepy, and he was pretty nuts throughout the whole film. And I think this is Tupac's best role ever. You know, Juice is just perfect. I mean, the movie got released in when did it get released again? I think it got released in 1992, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check. Oh yeah, it got released when the year I was born. Yeah, it got released in 1992. It's directed by Ernest Dickerson. You know, it even featured some other supporting players like Queen Latifah had a part in this. Sam Jackson was pretty good here. Yeah, I really love Juice. It's a really good one. I mean, it's yeah, Tupac, Omar Epps, really great cast. It's great crime film. I mean, yeah, if you guys never had a chance to check out Juice, do yourself a favor, watch Juice. I think you'll enjoy it. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 5, Above the Rim. 4, Gang Related. 3, Bullet. 2, Poetic Justice. 1, Juice. Now he did do other stuff as well. Like, I guess you could count either of those as a documentary. I guess you could count Tupac Resurrection as a film. Gridlock with Tim Roth is a good one. I keep forgetting he was in Nothing But the Truth. Cool. But as of course he's best known for music. And if I gotta say what my favorite Tupac music is, let me pull up this music list. Dear Mama's a good one. Keep Your Head Up. I love California Love. Yeah, Tupac is he was probably one of the best actors and rappers there was. I just love Tupac. I mean, I never really grew up with his music or anything, but I have, you know, listened to his music tons of times, and I just love. I miss this guy. He's definitely one of the best rappers there is, and I think one of these days I'll probably do a top. I mean, I'll probably do a top 10 video of my top 10 favorite rappers of all time. Spoiler alert, Tupac's gonna be in that list. But yeah, there's some really like Tupac was the best. Anyway, it's a shame his life was cut tragic. Like his life was cut very too short, and he was just great. But anyway, let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite Tupac movies and music? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas L. signing off.